It gives me great pleasure to introduce Anthony Taylor. Anthony works for the Virginia Beach Parks and Recreation Department as a building supervisor. And he's going to talk about that today. For the past 6 years, Anthony has managed the recreation programming for the Salvation Army's Crockett Center in Augusta, Georgia. He was part of the planning and opening of that center and brings his experience to open our city's newest center in Kempsville, which he's going to talk about. Anthony also at our table here, he is from Australia and has had quite an interesting career. With that, I would like to introduce Anthony.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here today. I really like to talk, and I really like to talk about things that I'm excited about. And something I'm excited about is this new building that I've had the awesome opportunity to come and open for the city of Virginia Beach. I'm brand new to the area. I just moved up here in the summer, and as said in the bio, I was working for the Salvation Army Crockett Center, and I opened that building down there. And I couldn't pass up the opportunity. My sister-in-law lives here, and I was coming up here every single summer for the last 3 years. And I was like, you know what? It reminds me of Sydney. It reminds me a lot of home. Let's just come on up here. And a job was provided, and what an opportunity to open that center. Let me just speak on Virginia Beach. What a beautiful place. You guys live in a great center. I know I'm brand new, and so the newness is still there, but that shininess is going to hang around for a bit, because I love the beach. Kempsville Recreation Center. Hopefully a lot of you guys know about it. Hopefully a lot of you guys also had maybe visited in the past, but I wanted to start a little bit about our vision for the parks and recreation of the city of Virginia Beach. They have a vision, we have a vision, to provide balanced, sustainable, value-focused system of parks, recreation and public spaces that create a sense of community. And that's one thing that I've noticed a lot about Virginia Beach, is that they're very community-orientated. A lot of the clubs, a lot of the group really give back to the community. We bond together when things happen. Hurricane Matthew is a fantastic example of that. We have a mission to deliver parks and recreation programs and public spaces that reflect priorities of our community. We support tiered levels of service that recognize the diverse needs of our community. And we focus on sustainability of core programs, services and facilities through efficient and effective business practices. Virginia Beach is one of the luckiest places I've ever been. The city has provided 7 recreation centers. Kempsville's coming. And these recreation centers are provided for the community just are outstanding. And I know 3 of the recently renovated buildings at Williams Farm and at Bow Creek, who just won an award for its sustainability and its building design. They're just here to give back to the community and run so many programs in there to facilitate the needs and recreation and the fitness needs of the community. Kempsville has been around for a long time, and for those of you who have been in the area for a long time, it's been around since 1977. I was 1. And so if you've been inside that building, you'll see those ramps, and you'll remember those ramps. But in April and June of 2015, we decided to take a sledgehammer to that place, and we took it on down. And what that came was with some raising of funds to provide a brand new center and state-of-the-art area. We knew that it was one of the most loved and cared about centers of the community. And as I've been going around and talking to places and to people about the center, there's no shortness of love for that center and what it did for the community. If you were ever a member down there at Kempsville, I know that there was a very tight-knit community too. I'm actually speaking at the Santa Stocking thing that was there for 30 years. It's an event of Craft Bazaar. And I was stopped at Princess Anne 2 weeks ago, and everyone was saying, oh, I love that building, I miss it, I wish we didn't have to leave it. But they're so excited about it coming. That demolition project didn't take very long, but the building has taken quite some time to come up. There's an aerial view of that building space. This is a concept rendering. I have some flyers out there. Hopefully some of them have gone out. You can have a look at the things that we have there in the center. This is just an entranceway. The entranceway is going to draw you to some beautiful features. As you can see up there in the roof, we've got some wooden beams, which I'm going to explain a little bit later in the presentation about how important those beams are. There's going to be a lot of glass and a lot of environmental impact there. But we're going to have 2 pools. What's exciting about these 2 pools is they're 2 separate pools. Who's ever been to a community pool over time and maybe Mama's got a little kid who's gone to the bathroom, had an accident, we had to shut the pool down and get everybody out. Great thing about this is that it's going to be the first pool that we have that has 2 separate pools on 2 separate filtration systems. So if little Jimmy decides to go a little tinkle in the play area, we can close that pool down and move everyone over to the second pool so you can still enjoy that time in there, vice versa. So that's really cutting edge for a lot of places. A lot of places still have that one pool that facilitates the same filtration system. This was a picture I took in September when I went for my first trip, and it was just a lot of cinder block. Hopefully a lot of you guys love buildings. I love buildings. I love construction, and I love just walking around trying to familiarize myself with the building that I'm going to be spending a lot of time in. This is our pool. It got the cement was laid and the pump house out there with the filtration systems. And I walked up onto the track and took a panoramic picture of the indoor walking track we're going to have there. So not only is there going to be a double gymnasium, 2 pools, 7 multi-purpose rooms, there's going to be an indoor walking track. And you can, if you just feel like walking, you can walk on the right lane. If you just feel like running, you can run on the other lanes. We're going to have little stations around that circuit where you can stop and take a breather and not be in anyone's way, or you can do some stretches or some exercises. A lot of things are being thought out. See, this is our 3rd one that we've built, brand new again. So we're learning from each building and adding extra things that a lot of the community have said. Then these beams came. This held up the building progress for quite some time. We were set to open in, I think it was January, then it got pushed back to February. And that was due to the fact that it took us 2 months to get these big wooden beams down from New York. We had a little bit of a hold up there. You can't see very well in that picture, but I took a picture of one of those beams before it went up there, and you'll see that this 13 individual pieces of this wood from upstate New York, one single piece. So you can imagine how big those trees are. But you've seen the trees at the Rockefeller Stadium, at Rockefeller for Christmas, so you know those trees can get big up there in New York. Then they were boogieing along inside with the painting and stuff, and I was saying, you know what, this is going to get done a lot quicker than I thought. And then Hurricane Matthew happened, and we didn't get any work done for a little while because it flooded all inside there. This was just taken in November. These are the latest pictures I had earlier this month. Those beams were up. They started to put the first layer of 4 layers of roof up on top there. Once again, I just love seeing trucks and construction stuff, so I had to put a truck in there. And this is me standing in the foyer looking outside the building. And just another shot. It's a good light as that time change happens and we get that nice light in the afternoon. It kind of lit up the building quite nice. So they've got that roof one, that's that pool I showed you in the earlier shot, and some rafters, and they've put the terrazzo floor down and polished it already. So what's happened there is we're about 2 weeks away from full enclosure. Once that enclosure happens, they can start working on that inside stuff. A lot of the duct work, you see ceiling tiles are up, HVAC systems already run through out there, the cabling, they're really moving along. So the hope is to open in spring of 2017. So I'm advertising spring because we don't know if it's going to be like early March, late March, or April, or something else is going to happen. And we get some snow and it gets pushed back. Bow Creek got pushed back from December all the way back to March. So we're hoping to open at the same time as Bow Creek in March, and you'd all be welcome to come on out there. I'll take people on tours. You come and get your fitness on, your aquatics program. I'm zooming through this because I want to give you time to ask some questions. We do a lot of out-of-school programs. I don't have, they won't give me a business card yet, not because I'm too new, but because I can't give you the details yet because you'd have nowhere to call or nowhere to do. But I do have some stuff that you can write down if you ever want to email me or if you want to email me. My name's Anthony Taylor. So that's my kind of little business thing there. I don't have it on any information, but come and see me. I'll let you have that information.
Then get a hold of me and I'll get you.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you want to look at our Facebook or our Instagram and our Twitter, we keep that up to date. With what's going on in the progress. And actually, if you go to the website, there's an actual live construction camera that's pointed 24 hours a day at that thing. You can just watch it build, and then you can hit play and you can watch it from groundbreaking all the way through really quick in about 30 seconds. It's kind of cool to look at. So make sure you get a look at that. I wanted to give you guys some time to ask any questions. Yes?
I love the rec centers, but the thing that bothered me the most was this chlorine smell from the pool.
Right.
And having that walking track around there. the walking tracks in the gym area, it's not over the...
Correct. So the interesting thing about the filtration system that I was showing you earlier, and this is why I think we're going to get an award, or I hope we're going to get an award, is that you go into a pool and you'll see all of that duct work up in the roof. You look up, you'll see the recycling air. This has been none of that. We've hidden that technology's come far enough that that's all inbuilt into the structure. So the air filtration happens and there's no duct work. You don't even see where that air is coming and going through. It blew my mind. These massive vents just like kind of jammed into the floor. You can't even see them. And the walking track will be outside of that, so it'll be glassed in. It'll be across the weight room and across the gymnasium and the foyer.
Maybe a little premature, but are you taking reservations for summer birthday parties yet?
We're going to get through spring here. But the birthday parties are going to be fantastic. I know that I've been selecting a couple of items, and these are the standard inflatables. I'm looking at getting one of these inflatables that's like a human foosball table. So the kids can strap themselves in there, or adults, because I love soccer, so we're all good there, and we'll just play indoor soccer on a inflatable in the gym. It'll be a lot of fun. Yes?
You were going to explain about the wood beams. Was there something special about that other than they were delayed, or?
No, they were from New York, and they're one piece of wood. I think maybe I'm talking a bit too quick. I was trying to boogie on through. But I was just amazed at the fact that they're not only from America instead of being shipped out like a lot of other places have gotten their materials, but they're one piece of wood. So for me, what was mind-blowing was that there's trees that are that big that was up there, and then they're laid on a stack of 13 bits of these planks that are this big. So these beams are just fascinating.
So they weren't a glued beam?
No.
They were one solid piece?
Well, the whole thing, yes, exactly. So there's a whole bunch of those across the front work and the lattice work. I was just more marveled at how big that tree would have been to come from.
Okay.
I haven't seen any trees that big in Australia. We kind of just have little spare gum trees that are too much desert. We don't get trees that big. Yes, sir.
So I live right around the corner,
Yeah.
so I go by all the time. The baseball fields that are right next door, is that part of the project? I noticed they're redoing some of the ball fields, or is that a separate?
Right. They're not going to change the dimensions of that. I know that actually where right now, if you drive past there, you see this in front of the ball field. There's some gravel park where people are parking and construction workers.
They've started to put up new fencing and backstops.
Yeah, that green space will come back. I think they're doing some work, but it's actually a different project, different CIP project. So we're not actually doing that. But we've improved our parking. We've added more parking spots so that some of the community. This is the first place I've ever known that it has been affected by community input. So some people said, for example, there were racquetball courts there. And we put it out to the community, what are some things that you want to see in there? A lot of people wanted more pool space. And so we put it out to vote, people went to forums, and we did away with the racquetball courts because they didn't have very much push behind them, and we increased the size of our pool. So this facility has really been shaped by the community. And the parking and the ball fields and the tennis courts, they're all still going to be there, as you saw in the aerial shot. They're just going to be shaped a little differently, and I think they're actually adding green space to that ball field where those parking gravel places used to be. So they will be doing a little bit of improvement, but it's not part of it. It's just like, as they move everything out, they're going to put everything back and make it a little better. Yes, sir.
What is the cost to join this rec center, and does that apply? If you join one, you join all?
Exactly. That's amazing to me. Inside the little booklet, you'll see if you're a Virginia Beach resident, it's only $98 for the whole year, which for me is phenomenal. If you're not a Virginia Beach resident, that price is a usual membership rate. I think it's around about $300 for the whole year. So if you're a Virginia Beach resident, it's only at $98 for the whole year, and that gives you access to all 7 centers. So you can be downtown at SeaTac, down at the beach at SeaTac, or you can be up in the Shore Drive area for Great Camp, down in Princess Anne area, we have one there. We've tried to plan this that anyone in Virginia Beach is only ever a 15-minute drive away from one of these rec centers at max. So it doesn't matter if you're up the top or down the bottom or closer to the northern border or you're closer to the beach, you'll find a rec center not far within you, away from you. Did that answer your question?
And I'm not happy about you getting rid of the
Racquetball courts.
but other than that.
I know. Hey, I'm a tennis player, so I was actually looking for, I got my racket as well.
You're gonna do pickleball too, right?
Pickleball will be, there'll be 6 courts there, yeah, absolutely, yeah, pickleball will be there, and the tennis courts are still there, and, yeah, the racquetball will still be available at 3 of our other sites, so there'll still be racquetball courts out there for you. Any other questions, or? Well, thank you for your time, I really enjoyed it.